Can you reinvent yourself in 2022 with 100 kettlebell swings every day? Probably not. It is currently 29 degrees outside. Pretty chilly, but when you dress properly and you do kettlebell swings, it gets a little warm. All right, I have a few of the swings done now. Ears are getting chilly. I've done this before, 100 daily swings. I've succeeded once for a year and I've failed, I think, twice. I'm gonna be more optimistic this time, of course. Today is January the 3rd. It would be cool to say I started on the 1st, but I was in Gatlinburg here in Tennessee with my family over the New Year's Eve holiday. I need to get refocused. I've said it 100 times before, but we'll say it again. 100 swings kept me grounded. It was a really good anchor point for my day. I think the reason I failed last time was because I tried to do them as soon as I got up every day. I'm not a morning person. That did not go as planned, so here we are again. I really want to provide some sort of value to the world, and this is probably the easiest way to do that, via YouTube. Living in a small town just north of Nashville provides me a limited scope of connection, so I think it would be interesting and fulfilling to spend a little more time creating something of value and putting it out into the world via digitization of myself, and maybe even monetize my existence, so to speak. We'll talk more about that soon. We'll see you tomorrow. Maybe we won't. Around this time of year, it seems to be natural for people to be thinking about what they definitely did not do a good job of last year and what they want to improve upon in the upcoming year. There are a lot of people out there that like to talk down on New Year's resolutions, but there's not really much more of a natural time of the year that we start contemplating these things. You can change anything you want about your life at any time. That's the cool thing about being an adult. You get to make your own choices, and sometimes those choices have consequences that we don't like. Sometimes they have amazing consequences. For me in 2022, I want to set up more of a minimalist approach to my strength and conditioning practice. Not just to be fit for the sake of being fit. I own and run a CrossFit gym, and there's so many aspects to CrossFit that if you're not halfway decent at most of them, sometimes you can feel kind of worthless. I'm gonna pare down on not really being too consumed on all the CrossFit skills, so to speak. I wanna be really strong. I wanna be kinda quick, but for the most part, I want to feel good and feel healthy and not be distracted about numbers and reps and sets and all these things. 100 kettlebell swings a day was a great anchor point for me a couple of years ago. I started with that. It could be a warm-up. It could be the only thing that I did for the day. I could do heavy sets of 10. I could do one big set of 100. I could do kettlebell cleans, snatches, basically a marriage of power, strength, and conditioning all in one movement, and it's a great place to start your focus on for the day. So in the next few weeks, I'm gonna be talking more about kettlebell stuff, not necessarily daily routines, because it's not gonna be conducive for most people anyway, considering I own and run a business and I don't have a typical 9 to 5, so some of these things are not gonna apply to most people. But for me, it's gonna be helpful for me to document these things because it's not gonna get me distracted on social media or YouTube per se. But I want to do productive things that add value to the world. Kettlebell swings are a great place to start because you're prioritizing yourself every single day. If you are not a decent version of yourself, let alone the best version of yourself, you can't really do much for other people. That's just what I believe. I think we need to pursue our best self, and then that branches off into our family, our close friends, and then our community. 100 swings a day is where I'm going to try to start back again, documenting those things. I'll talk about some technique, some things you can change it up with, different movements that still have a hinge base to them. I want to eat more fruits and vegetables and not go out to eat as much just because I can. I don't have a money problem per se, but I do want to make more money because I want to sell my house. I want to buy some property and be out in the woods like I did when I was growing up. I want to get back to that. A more minimalist approach to life. I changed my life drastically. I guess that was about 6 or 7 years ago, and a lot of it had to do with adopting more of a minimalist approach to life. But it's this ebb and flow where you start to add things back in, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not much of a minimalist anymore. So I want to get back to that, and I think starting that with kettlebell swings, 100 of them every day, is going to be a great way to set up a good foundation for me. So if you're interested in following along, or if you have anything that you do, I think there's so many people on YouTube teaching other people how to do things better or just how to do things. I would love, like, normal people. If you're watching this and you don't have some sort of YouTube following or some big social media icon, if you're just some guy or some gal with a tip, just put it in the comments. I might end up taking it and running with it. But I think all of us have something to add, something of value to add to the world. And if you don't, seems like a pretty dark place to be. So I will be seeing you guys soon. Please subscribe. Please like the video if you like it. If you didn't like the video, tell me what you didn't like specifically. I'm not an amazing video editor or cinematographer per se, but it's fun. I like doing it and I would like to get better at it. So let me know down below. I'll see you next time.